Alright guys, now you have installed Reactiv SUITE and you want to use it for the first time. And you turn it on, this is what you see. 3 different modules. Which one should you start with? We recommend you to start with Reactiv PITCH because it's most effective, simplest to use. So let's start with PITCH and try Reactiv Stage and Scribble later. Okay, so let's start with PITCH to get familiar with the software. Click on that, you will see this. So basically it asks you to select your screen layout. And what does that mean? It means that you can choose to present with yourself, just the camera, or your content only. So if you have a PowerPoint document or a video you want to show, you can just present that document content without showing the camera. Or you can choose to have a balance of yourself, the camera, and also your content. This basically means content is bigger, camera is smaller, and the camera will appear on the top left. This is the same idea in terms of scale, but the camera appears on the top right. And this is the camera and the content about the same size, so they're kind of equal. And then camera on the left, content on the right. This is the same idea in reverse of positions. This means the camera is now much bigger. It's the background. It takes out the entire background with the content floating on top of the camera. And this is the same idea, it's just that the camera and the content will appear on opposite side. Okay, so let's say I want to choose this one to start with. I choose that, then I choose the background images. There are 7 default background images. I like the brick wall, so that's the one I choose. So after that, I go to step 3, which is to find the content I want to present. So normally I use a PowerPoint, and that's a file. Then I go ahead and pick a file. Or if I want to showcase my phone, let's say if I have an app that I want to show or pictures on my phone that I want to show, I can go ahead and show my iOS phone, the iPhone, or Android phone. Or I can show a document camera because I want to showcase something that's on my table. Maybe a document, maybe a physical object that I want to share, I choose that. Or I want to use my company website or any type of website and I enter a URL. So today I'll pick a file. And I choose the content. Let's say that's the PowerPoint I want to use. Click open. Then it asks me if I want to show a camera. So if I don't, then I turn it off and I can begin. But I want to show the camera, so I turn it on. However, there's nothing set up here, so I want to add new. And now it popped up windows to give me a camera source list. So these are the USB camera, the web camera that's already connected to your laptop. I want to use that one, so I click next and I can choose the resolutions and frame rate. So let's say I am happy with 720p, 30 frames per second. I click next. I can change the name. I can give it its custom name, or I can choose any of the default name. So let's say I'm happy with the default name. I just choose that, go next. Now the camera comes on, okay? So you can choose first the layout. Either 16 by 9, 4 by 3, 1 by 1, or a circle. I'm happy with the circle, I choose that. Notice that the wording behind me is backward. It's because it's default to be a camera mirror. I don't like that, so I change that, but it's up to you. Then I can add names and titles. Names allow your audience to remember who you are. Very important in today's video conference age, so we want them to remember who we are. So I'm gonna type my name here. It's Thomas Chang, and the title, FTI Go-to-Market Director. And then I would like to add a logo. Oh, let's say I want to add a logo. This is the logo that I want to use. Okay, so I use that. Voila, I have my logo. I'm happy with what I did. I click next, and then I could choose a thumbnail. It remembered the last thumbnail that I did, so I took a photo of myself. Or you can add a picture to represent this camera, depending on what you want to do. So let's say I'm happy with that. Then now I am going to begin this presentation. So I click begin. It's going to run, generate the camera and also the content. All right, here we go. So that the camera is generated with my name and also the logo and the content, which is the PowerPoint. The background was the big brick wall. So basically this is what I chose and I can happily start to present, right? So I can go and just go to the next page as if I would do it in a PowerPoint. So very easy to use. And now, just a few things. You have chose this layout to begin with, but it doesn't mean that you have to stay in this layout. So if you see here, this is actually the layout feature. If I want to have the audience focus on me, I can click the camera. Now my camera will take up the entire screen, or I can show the content only without the camera. Depending on what you want to do, you can spice it up during the presentations. And let's say I want the content to be bigger and myself to be smaller, I can choose this, or I can try it the other direction, or change the scale a little bit. Now the content is big, myself is also big, so it's kind of a well-balanced shot. So it really depends on what you want to do. You have all the choices in your hand. You just use your mouse and click on the icon and you can choose accordingly, right? And then let's say if you want to select a file, meaning that you are done with this presentation, you need to go to the second file. You can go ahead and choose file. So once you click that, notice the familiar UI appears. Now I want to either pick a file or pick a device or enter a URL. So let's say I want to choose a different file, then I can go ahead and showcase that. Let's say I want to use that file now, and it's going to run and generate using the new file that I chose. Okay, so now I have that. This is the new presentations, and I can go ahead and continue with these presentations. So that's how you're able to use Reactiv Pitch, simply because it's just designed to be very easy to use. Your content, yourself, a balanced shot of your content yourself, or maybe a large chart of yourself or your content, whichever you want to use. Very simple to use, very simple to set up, and that's Reactiv Pitch.